everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sports Scene. Thank you for your company. It's always great to have your company. Elijah joins me again in this episode. How is it going, Elijah?
It's been good, yeah. A lot
Covered
of
any interesting stories?
Well, I've been following the PNG Under 23 men's football team in Fiji who are taking part in the Olympic qualifiers, yeah.
That's awesome. Now in the lineup, we have Justin Olam sharing his thoughts ahead of the strong semi-final match against the Sydney Roosters on Sunday. And some fight sports, along with tennis and the 2019 Rugby World Cup results of the first week.
We begin with football, and the PNG Under 23 men's football team arrived in Fiji last week ahead of their first match in the OFC Olympic qualifiers. Now PNG played Vanuatu in their first match, losing 3-1. Let's take a look at the highlights. Vanuatu started the match on the front foot in the opening 10 minutes. New Zealand-based Azaria Solomon scored the opening goal in the first 3 minutes with a header from a cross from Bonkalo. The early goal swung the momentum in Vanuatu's way as they controlled more of the ball possession. Papua New Guinea responded after conceding the goal with some encouraging attacking moves but yet failed to score. Solomon dashed into the attacking third in the 19th minute to win a penalty after he was brought down in the box. He scored a penalty to extend Vanuatu's lead to 2-0. Moments later, Bonkalo crossed another ball into the PNG box for Ronaldo Wilkins to finish for a third. PNG came back strong in the second half to create some scoring opportunities. Papua New Guinea's skipper Togubai's persistence saw him win a penalty in the 52nd minute. Togubai converted the penalty kick to pull a goal back for Papua New Guinea. After scoring, Papua New Guinea created 3 more chances in the remaining 10 minutes, but their final touch let them down.
Didn't expect to start that way, but we put ourselves in a position where we started slow and then it costed us towards the end. But the positives out of it is that we came back strong in the second half, and that's where we can be able to build on for the next game. I have every belief, given what we did today in the second half, and we can only hope that we can improve and we will come back strong for the second half.
It was do or die for PNG as they took on hosts Fiji in their second match. PNG unfortunately lost 3-1. Let's take a look at the highlights. You know, Dini, PNG, their first match, unfortunate loss there. Their coach, Percy Mateo, said they started the first half, you know, quite slow and they couldn't really pick up. But in the second half, they did, and they had a couple of chances of scoring and leveling the scores in the second half, but just couldn't. But the second match, you know, it was it against Fiji, and you know, it was a must win, and they played against the host, and you know, the host nation all coming out to support the Fijian side. So, but
what's the make of the team?
Well, it's the PNG Under 23 men's team. Most of the players have played in the National Soccer League competition. Also, a couple have come from the Under 18 team that also took part earlier on this year in competition in Tahiti, I think, yeah.
All right, let's hope they
yes,
get a
and we
win.
wish them all the best.
We'll go for a break now, and on the other side, we'll take a look at the Volleyball Club Championship and the Netball Championship in Goroka. Welcome back. You're watching Sports Scene. Now, since its reintroduction, the Volleyball Club Championship has proven to be a venue for the battle of the best teams in the country. This year's crown in the men's competition went to Lavukoloa from the Vabukori Amateur Volleyball Association.
It was an ultimate test of the Titans in volleyball, the best teams in PNG going head-to-head at the Tauranga Aquatic Centre. The three-day tournament went down to a showdown. The best two teams, defending champions Editech Scorpions from NCD Volleyball Association, face off with Lavukoloa from Vabukori Amateur Volleyball Association, or VAVA. The defending champions faced an uphill battle from the start, failing to replicate their dominance from last year, Lavukoloa proving too strong. They won 3-1.
It's been tough. The preparations have been tough because we are a new club coming into this competition. I've relied on two of the current Tamua players, that's Junior Roll and Volta now. And training has been very difficult for us. We've been waking up 4 a.m. in the morning, training 4 days a week for the last 3 months, and it paid off for us.
Well, actually, I think they penetrated through the middle. Our middle blockers didn't read the game quite well, and Junior really penetrated the middle attack, which we knew already that the Vava is always very strong in the middle. But then saying it is another, and trying to execute it is another. So our middles were quite off guard by the smart playing of the setter, and Junior just penetrated through the middle all day long. Well, we are already secured to be back in 2020. So yes, we'll be more prepared and better than 2018.
Only 10 teams participated in the men's event, which included teams from Ley and Central provinces. Lavukoloa is VAVA's #1 team. Their supreme performance in the club championship reaffirms VAVA's competence as the toughest association yet in PNG.
Scorpions, well, actually, they are a tougher team to beat, and they'll be also going for the club championship. Oceania Club Championship in November, and we're going to meet up with them. Hopefully, either of us win the Oceania Club Championship.
And in the women's division, one of the oldest clubs in the code of volleyball in Papua New Guinea, the Raukelek Dolphins, were crowned champions.
Volleyball is a sport loved by many in Papua New Guinea. Like any sporting code, there are those that leave their imprints as time goes, but many are forgotten with time. One of the names that stands out and deserves recognition for serving the code of volleyball is the Raukele Dolphins. In fact, it is one of the oldest clubs, alongside the likes of Telecom, among others. The roots of Raukele Dolphins go back as far as 1984. Born from the love of the sport, Raukele proudly wears its name from a place in Hula village, where Kiladik, Vali Alu and Harold Gima, the pioneers and founding fathers, hail from. Co-founder and current team manager Kiladik proudly speaks of the club.
Yeah, well, the Raukele Club was formed in 1984. Kila Oli and I from the club. We actually went down to Hula Village in 1983, Christmas tournament, and we organized the tournament ourselves. And that was how we started the club, the formation of the club. So I got a couple of players from Manubara and a couple of players from Hoods, and to establish the club. So it's one of the oldest clubs in the volleyball cycle.
The club boasts of a long history of birthing some of the best Papua New Guinean volleyball athletes who are no doubt regarded heroes. Edward Icy, Matthew Wallo, Michael Avoa are some of the names that are engraved on the historic walls of volleyball in Papua New Guinea. With a notable reputation, the club also stands for women empowerment and gender equality. Raukele Women's Division has a respectable experience of over 2 decades of premiership wins in various associations including POM Volleyball Association, NCDVA and the Fairfax Volleyball Association. They are 2-time club champions and 3 times participants since the inception of the club championships, making history again by winning back-to-back club championship. The Raukele Men's are 3 times premiers from 1984 to 1991. They are 7 times grand finalists with POM Volleyball Association, 4 times premiers from 1992 to 1995 in NCDVA, 5 times premiers, back-to-back premiers of 2016 and 2017, and with Fairfax Volleyball, runners-up to 2018 club championships. They are a club that contributed to sportsmanship over the years, and their love for the code continues to grow in their game.
Still on national championships, this time to netball, and the Newcrest National Netball Championship started on the 18th of September and ended on the 23rd on Monday. The championship saw athletes from all 4 regions of PNG battle it out for supremacy, with the newly established ABAU Association taking home the 2019 title.
Coinciding with the championships, an annual general meeting was held, which saw the election of a new president for PNG Netball, Olato Ave. Meanwhile, the Honourable Governor for Eastern Highlands Province presented a cheque of 35,000 kina to Goroka Netball Association to cover all facility usage costs at the National Sports Institute.
We'll head out for a few short messages now, and we'll be back with more of Sports Scene.
Hello and welcome to Sports Scene. A different take on this one. I'm with Mr. John Neil Kare, the Manager for Corporate Affairs for SP Brewery. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be on. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes. Now, first of all, we're talking sports here. SP Brewery has been a strong supporter of sports for many, many years. How long has it been?
Yeah, well, it's a really good question, actually. So sports, the association between the South Pacific Brewery and sports has actually gone as far back as when the inception of the company, right back since 1952. So the brewery was built in 1951, and we had our first pour in 1952, which is our iconic SP Lager. So since then, when we established that brand SP Lager, since 1952, the first sort of sporting association the brand latched onto was rugby league, or the first sporting code, so to speak. And that was actually done through the Port Moresby Rugby League. And that friendship or that association has been with the company since then, so since 1952, right up to 2019 that we are. So that's the 67 years of the existence of SB, and it's also 67 years of partnership with Port Moresby Rugby League. So, and in between that, let's say we've participated in a whole host of things. But if you're gonna put a mark on what is our oldest association, it would have to be our partnership with Rugby League over the many years.
Growing with the sport, growing with the company, and growing with the country as a whole. Now, we have a new CEO. Will that change the support that the company is giving to sports in general in Papua New Guinea?
I don't think so. Sport and SB Brewery, that's part of our values. This is who we are. This is what our brands have been built around. We had the SB PNG Hunters awards night. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago at the Hilton Hotel, and our managing director Ed Wegemans actually went up and spoke, and he gave an assurance to the SB Hunters management, the team, the government officials, all the other partner sponsors that were all there. He gave a firm commitment, a firm, solid commitment that South Pacific Brewery will continue its partnership with the SB Hunters going forward in the future. So, yeah, we all remain confident that sport, as we said, is a core value of ours. So,
more of this support is given to rugby league than other sports.
Yeah, I think, and it comes back to what I said earlier. It's our long-term partnership. It's something we've latched SB Lager onto rugby league, and it's been with us for 67 years now and counting. When we engage with let's say a partner, be it sports or whatever campaign it may be, we like to look at it in a long-term view, a long-term partnership. Because we see that as it's a better way of putting our message through. It's a better way of let's say advocating, whether it's sport or responsible consumption or whatever. Forming long-term partnerships is a win-win for the parties and partners involved in it. So specifically coming back to you're talking about Port Moresby Rugby League. Hey, 67 years of partnership. I mean, that's something that not too many companies in PNG can point their finger and say, "Well, we've been with them, for this long."
Any thoughts about the other sports as well in Papua New Guinea?
Yes. I think we've got a whole, let's say, basket of partnerships or activities that we engage with in sports. Probably aside from the SB Hunters, we have the Digicel Cup. Lest we not forget, not too long ago in the early 90s, it was called the SB Intercity Cup, and we did sort of created that concept, and then we let that, we sort of moved on to the Hunters and let Digicel take that space. But having said that, we've still, behind Digicel, we're still major sponsors of the Digicel Cup. So we find that it's really important to actually participate in that activity, because at the end of the day, these are the talents there from the Digicel Cup are going to move up to the SB Hunters. So we're still very much ingrained in that comp. The other one is a long-term partnership with the PNG Olympic Committee. Okay, so obviously, we've got a whole host of federations and associations that sort of subscribe under that umbrella of the OC. And our subscriptions that we sort of renew every year with the PNG Olympic Committee goes a long way in helping the OC, the Olympic Committee, to help with the federations and obviously prepare in its preparations for Olympic Games, Pacific Games, Commonwealth Games, all of that. So we're proud of that partnership. And in fact, earlier on this year, we signed another 3-year MOU. Increasing our spend with the Olympic Committee over the next 3 years. So that in itself encapsulates a lot of federation, a lot of sporting codes. Okay, so that's a significant spend that we invest with them. The other thing from our partnership with the OC is that we have the SB Sports Awards. Now that event, that is a really, let's say that's the only event in PNG that recognizes elite sportsmen and women. So that event, in fact, this year we did our 27th SB Sports Awards. Started back right after the 1991 SP Games when we held it here first in PNG. So the first one was in 1992, so all the way up until now, that's 27 years. So that's been a real great platform to recognize our good talents, both men, women, team sports, and then categories expanded over the years. You know, journalism, best pictures, and so on and so forth. And what it does is it actually, you know, it's a bit of a motivator for our athletes. You know, everyone wants to be recognized. You go out there, you do your training, you do your best, you do it for your country out there, and then there's not too many platforms where that recognition on a national scale is given. So that's why what we've created, this SB Sports Awards, over 27 years, has really been, let's say, a catalyst for people to, you know, to strive for greater heights, for great achievements. And of course, they are, you know, aside from the recognitions, there are some rewards attached to that as well, by way of, you know, some funding, etc.
So the support over the years, you know, must be quite amount of spending done by SP Brewery in this regard?
Yes, there are significant amounts of spending. I don't think I'm allowed to disclose the amounts of money, but yeah, quite significant.
Yeah. So, as a company, in your view, how has the government been in support of sports in general, working closely with the company, of course?
It's played a huge role, but you know, let's pick a couple of big ones. Okay, so first and foremost, I think the facilities that have been created, especially since the last Pacific Games, has been fantastic. Now we've got some world-class facilities, and as a result of that, we've been able to host some world events. You know, you talk about the women's soccer, and of course you look at National Football Stadium. We've been able to, through that stadium, we've been able to host a lot of international matches, and lest we forget the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. So I give credit to the government for investing in sporting facilities, first and foremost, in the country, and most recently. The second one, I mean, we talked about SB Hunters earlier on. I mean, the other foundation sponsor for the SB Hunters is the PNG government through the National Gaming Control Board. So they've, you know, both SB and National Gaming Control Board, which is the government, have been there since day one, since the inception of the Hunters in 2014. So without their funding, without their support, I mean, SB couldn't do it by itself. So, I mean, those are two big ones, but there are a whole host of other things that, of course, you know, I talked about the Olympic Committee, the PNG Sports Federation. Those are two bodies that you know, we work closely with, jointly with, to facilitate the SB, let's say, sports awards and other international events that our athletes take part in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you.
Welcome back to the show. Now to boxing, and she came to the limelight in 2015 with a silver medal in the Pacific Games. Now she is creating an avenue for many young women and girls with an establishment she calls Kamapim Boxing Meri. Let's take a look.
In a male-dominated sport, the rise to the top for a woman is one of many challenges. The story is no different for this young woman. At age 31, Raphaela Baki, now retired from representative duties, is pursuing her passion in helping others find a pathway in the code of boxing. Her story is one that many young girls will relate to. As she was rising in her career as an athletic, she lost the very person who was the cornerstone of her success.
But then my mom thought, like, oh, if me carrying my children here back and forth won't help, so I need to put them into taking up the code, whatever code that they want, maybe sports. And she saw the potential in me that I could run. She went looking for athletics association. That's when she came under Naomi Polum. So Naomi Polum was my first coach where I got to train under her.
She set her heart on overcoming her fears and challenges. One goal, to succeed. She made her mark in the history of sporting in Papua New Guinea. Her sporting career took her to 3 different codes, and in all 3, she stamped her name. From the track to the rugby field, then to the ring. On the track, she was part of the powerhouse team of Queens, running in the 4x100 meters relay that brought home the gold in the 2007 Pacific Games, alongside Toya Whistle, Mike Koime and Anne Mooney.
You know, shaking and nervous and just calling out for Anne to pass the baton quickly. So the moment when she gave it to me, I just took off. I didn't even look back to see if the Fijian girl was coming behind me or beside me. I just kept looking to just take that baton home. So yeah, but then I knew that I won because I didn't see her coming the line. My finish was always hard because I always push my head into the finish line. When we won that goal after that, I dedicated that medal to my mother, and we ran 45.99 seconds, which the record is still there and hasn't been broken.
So after this fight, they will have the medal press emulating and breaking that. Baki on the attack straight away. Chen, good left hands. Got caught with it. Baki got caught.
The boxing ring is where she decided to close the chapter of her sporting career.
I was trying to do a shift over, but at the same time I was doing athletics and boxing. So I went for the national championships in 2013 in Kokopo, and when I got back, that's when I made a stop to in athletics, and I just concentrated on boxing. So during the games, I had to fight in the 60 kg weight division. Debbie in the 75, she was our heavyweight, and Philo Mangaiva was our 51 kg, which now Flora Logo took her place. And it was really good because we were the first 3 female Papua New Guineans to really fight on home soil, and the first female girls to make history to fight here on, you know, to make the ladies' debut.
I'm relatively confident that Chen has stolen the victory. And if so, will become the first ever woman to win a gold medal for a country in boxing. Here we go, here's the decision.
Still in fight sports, PNG will be represented in the World Wushu Champs for the first time, as Representative Andrew Molen will be among the world's best in Shanghai in a few weeks' time to compete. We caught up with him a few days ago during one of his training sessions.
I'll be away from the 15th World Wushu Championships. That's going to be from the 18th to 24th of October. But prior to that, I have intensive training and coaching at the Shanghai University of Sports. That will be from the 6th to the 18th. Yeah. And basically, the event is about a month. I'll be really busy. First going to the coaching and the training, and then trying to take the rest of the world in the World Championships.
In 2006, Andrew Molen found his way into Shaolin Kung Fu Wushu from Muay Thai and kickboxing, and to date still gives credit to this martial art that instilled not just skills but discipline in him. It's been over a decade of practicing this art of Kung Fu, and he has also represented PNG in a number of international events. Although international recognition for Papua New Guinea's involvement with Kung Fu came just last year when PNG became a member of the international fraternity. And for Andrew, who is by far the longest practicing Kung Fu artist, the invite to take his place in the competition among the world's best to compete in combat wushu came this year.
Right,
It came as an invitation. We started only develop Wushu in Papua New Guinea since last year. We are about 1 year old now. And to be invited to go and participate, that's a very big recognition for us. And I thank the International Wushu Federation, the Oceania Kung Fu Wushu Federation, and the Chinese Wushu Federation, who are the ones who gave me the scholarship to go and study at the Shanghai University of Sports. Yeah. The event I will be competing in is the Sanda, which is free fighting in Chinese. There's also the Taolu competition, which is the patterns or forms, but we have not developed that in PNG yet, so we'll just be focusing on the Sanda at the moment.
This opportunity comes not only as a first for PNG, but for the region as well.
I've thanked the organizations that have really helped, but I also like to thank these young athletes coming up for training, thank the High Performance Sport PNG, and my employer, the PNG Olympic Committee, for giving me the time to go and participate. For me, I've been in the sports for a while. Might be nearing my retirement time in my sporting career. So this is like a very important event for me. Win or lose, I'm still going to give my best. I'll be proud to represent PNG. I'll be the only one there, but people can be assured that I'll be carrying my flag proudly and fighting in the ring with everything I have.
And for now, Andrew is not only competing, he has also taken on the role of a development officer in the country and have already started working with a few individuals who are looking towards Wushu.
Apart from me being an athlete, I'm also the development officer for the sport in Papua New Guinea. So part of our development program, we've selected a group of athletes, and they're learning both Taolu, the forms, and the Sanda. And part of that program, we put them through the high performance program with the assistance of High Performance Sport PNG. And they do the conditioning and strength and conditioning, all those programs with them. But on every other day, we also do our techniques, like today. So they come in every day and they practice their techniques. We don't have any tournaments for them. I'm the only one who's competing this year. But as a long-term development, we think that it's a good idea that we start them now, rather than wait till 1 or 2 months out of the competition and then we get them into a program. Yeah.
We'll head out for a few short messages now, but when we come back, we'll bring you the Rugby World Cup results, the first week of results, and also coming up later, the exclusive interview with Justin Olam. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Sports Scene. Now, the Rugby World Cup kicked off last Friday in Japan, with the host nation taking on Russia in the opener. Here are the results for the first week of the World Cup and the fixtures for the next 7 days.
To inspire new generations with a love of the game, particularly across Asia. Until now,
the opening ceremony last Friday was quite a spectacle, with Japan taking the opportunity to showcase itself. 20 countries, 4 pools and 1 ultimate goal, and that is to take home the World Cup. And kickstarting their campaign with a massive win was the host nation. Most called it a comfortable win over Russia with 30 points to 10 in Pool A. But it was on Saturday when Australia's close call in their match against Fiji turned heads, when Fiji dominated for the most parts but just couldn't back that win in the end, leaving the scoreline at 39 points to 21 in favour of the Wallabies. Meanwhile, it was a tight game between France and Argentina, where the latter had to break away by just 2 points to win the game with a 23-21 scoreline. New Zealand, on the other hand, gave South Africa a 23-13 points beating in Pool C. And in Pool D, Wales went on to beat Georgia 43-14 on Monday. Manu Samoa showed no mercy on Russia on Tuesday with a 34-9 thumping.
That is from Fido! Oh, that's trademark Samoa. That's vintage Samoa. Oh, brilliant work. He deserves that.
And just yesterday, Fiji just couldn't overcome Uruguay, losing 22 points to 27. As of yesterday, Samoa now holds the top spot in Pool A. Italy leads in Pool B, followed by New Zealand. England stays on top in Pool C, and Wales is the current leader in Pool D. Here are the fixtures for the next 7 days.
A bit of skullduggery inside. If you just see Munapola on the inside of that ruck, just holds the Russian defender in, so he can't get out to tackle Fido, but great line. He's had a really good game out.
Tennis now, and Port Moresby Rackets Club played its last junior tennis competition for the year on Sunday, where more than 50 children participated. The tournament, supported by the International Training Institute, started in 2017 and is aimed at developing young tennis players in the country.
Junior tennis competition is a pathway program for school children. The competition started in 2017 as a development program for young children and is usually played only on school holidays. On Sunday, a presentation ceremony was held at the Rackets Club where winners of the competition were awarded with trophies and medals. The tournament, now in its third year, is supported by ITI with 4,000 kina each school semester.
So basically every year we started this about 3 years ago, and that probably I think that was the first fully open junior competition for the tennis club, racket club, and so we started with I think about 30 students who have participated in the very first one. So we had about 4 in the first 2 years for competition. This year we shifted to 3 because 3 makes better for in terms of the school holidays and all that. So we had one this year again previously, and there's about 55 students turned up. And currently this year competition 74 have registered. So there's been a huge jump in the number of participants for the competition. And so we whatever they they give us a budget invoice, that we pay for that. Maybe 3,000, 4,000 every competition. Usually it has to start from the young age and to develop. So basically, if you have 75 and then builds up that way, then you're going to have more people at a higher level, maybe when they're 18 or 19, to continue on to play more professional tennis. And in fact, some of the juniors have competed in other countries and done quite well. In fact, there's one group I heard that they're going to Melbourne at the end of the year. So what they're going to choose, I think this Olam will have the details, but they're actually having this thing. So that's a good international exposure, this thing. So what you have to do is always develop it at the base, and that's where the kids are.
Kumaran says with the aim to develop young talents, the association must also host more national and international events so that these young children are exposed to big events, which could also be used as a motivation tool. He says practice, training and commitment are just some of the key elements one can exercise and develop.
Ultimately, what we want is this should be represented internationally. I mean, people should come here to play like the open competition, and there should be more involvement and kids going overseas to get exposure. And they should be able to compete internationally and even probably have international games here as well. So to do that, you need to have the skills level built up. And we want to, in the future, work with the Racket Club to actually build that skills up. And I think there's a promising future because PNG international tennis players have done quite well. And I think that if you give them the proper foundation, they can do quite well internationally and locally. I mean, you can create your own local competitions as well if the numbers are right. So tennis, again, it's also new in the sense that most people look at rugby or cricket or other games. Tennis is not there in that same length of most people when they first think about sports. But I think with promotion and all that, I think tennis will become a bigger sports event. And in fact, I heard the squash is doing as well, quite well as well. So the racket games are coming up now. And I guess also it's just also in terms of trying to get it out there to people, that these are the things here. And also it's affordable to actually join up membership and all that. So we will work with them to see other competitions that we can also help them with, like we do with others, like cricket and other sports. So this is one of the avenues that we want to build up.
We'll go for a break now. And on the other side, for you Melbourne Storm supporters, we have an exclusive from Justin Olam. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Sports Scene. Now, he is one of PNG's favourite sons in the NRL. Justin Olam, or Jazzy, is making the most of his time with the club as his beloved Melbourne Storms head into semi-final rounds over the weekend. He's the only homegrown export after Marcus Bai to wear the purple jumper. Could he go all the way? That will be determined after the minor premieres. Melbourne Storms play Roosters on Saturday.
Back in your homeland, there's been a lot of interest and publicity. Have you been hearing much from back home?
I try to keep my head in Melbourne and stay here and play my game. But yeah, that's all I can control, and that's what I'm doing.
This weekend we play the Roosters. Played them twice this year. One narrow loss, one narrow win. What sort of team are they to play?
They're a very talented footy side with heaps of dangerous players, individual players that can make difference. But I think if we can go out there and then play well and then play our best, we can give our chance a good we can give ourselves a good chance to win. And no doubt when we're at our best, we're a team to beat as well.
The NRL is very popular in PNG. Do you think you're making it even more popular?
I don't think I'm making it even more popular. I think because NRL, everyone back at home, they always they love rugby, and everyone has their own NRL team, and they always support their own NRL team every weekend. And I don't think I made it more popular than it already is. And I think that's it.
But you might have got a few more Melbourne Storm fans thanks to your contributions this year.
Oh yeah, that definitely. My family and my friends are always there every time, sending me messages and supporting me, which is good, and that's all I need.
What message would you have for the people back home?
Well, to the Storm fans, we're gonna go out there and give our best, so at least we make them proud.
And we do wish Melbourne Storms and Justin Olam all the best in the match against the Roosters on Saturday. Also,
I'm just going to wish Justin all the best because I'm not a Melbourne Storm fan. Roosters fan, that is.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But I hope he scores a few tries and beats the Roosters so that the Roosters can go home.
We'll see.
Anyway, but the Roosters are playing the Melbourne Storm on Saturday. On Friday, the Raiders take on the Rabbitohs. Mm-hmm. Winners go to the grand final in the NRL Telstra Premiership for 2019. Anyway, Dini, what will you be covering this weekend?
All right, this weekend, the usual rounds. I'll be covering the usual rounds, still following the Rugby World Cup as well. It's on Emtv. You can always tune in, or you can find the schedule for all the matches as well on Emtv website or on our Sports Scene page on Facebook.
Yeah, well, apart from all the rounds that Dini is going to go to, this is also what's coming up this weekend. We've come to the end of the show now, but if you'd like us to cover any sporting event or any sporting story that you'd like us to cover, just send us an email to sports@emtv.com.pg or message us on our Sports Scene page on Facebook or call us on 312-9200 and ask to speak to any of us, and we'll be more than willing to help you out. And
always present,
yes.
always present.
And we'll catch you same time, same place next week. Good night.